Hey, what's going on, everyone? Excuse me. Just going to make sure this is firmly plugged in. A few times I left it out. So, okay, cool. All right, so we'll wait a little bit for people to hop in. I found out a way to go live in the group again. So, kind of Facebook changed the way you can go live and stuff like that. So, happy to be just doing it in here because I want to kind of keep it more exclusive and not just have random people jumping in because people online is kind of weird sometimes. So, okay, cool. So let me adjust this here. Everything's looking good. Scott, what is going on? I found out a way of how to do the lives again in the group versus doing it from my personal page. I was just mentioning that I wanted to keep it kind of more exclusive to the group in terms of the content and stuff like that. Donald, what is up? Good to see you as always. Thanks for always jumping in on these. I'm just going to wait probably like 30 more seconds. I'm actually getting started earlier today than I normally do. Usually start at about 1 p.m. Central. But I just wanted to kind of do this one here. I do have like a few errands to run today. But I wanted to meet with you guys too. So give it a few seconds and then we'll rock and roll. Also, Donald or Scott, if you guys have any questions, I'm happy to answer those questions. A lot of times just getting new topics going is always great. If not, then I'm just going to kind of go over today. What I wanted to cover today, I actually have a sheet here, is biohacks that literally anyone can do and it costs zero money and they actually work. I know America has like this huge fascination with pills, supplements and medical drugs and trying to hack their way or cut corners into like a healthy, happy lifestyle. But it's great, but there's just the only thing is it never works, and it never works. I've never seen it work. And if it's worked, I mean, just look, America's more like medically drugged out and on more supplements than ever before, but yet the sickest humans in the history of literally the entire human race. From start to finish, including all 28 plus human species that have come and gone. So if all those like supplements and pills and fat loss diets and biohacks and stuff like that, and if they worked, 9 out of 10 Americans wouldn't be metabolically sick right now. So clearly it doesn't work, or I've never actually seen it work, to be more precise. And I've been doing this for technically, I've been in this field for like 39 years, believe it or not, because I started off with being raised with by my grandmother off-grid and learning about biodynamic farming principles and how to live a sustainable life in tandem with Mother Nature, not against Mother Nature. And then, went to obviously raised by my parents, which were very health conscious, fed me like a whole food diet my entire life. My dad was already taking me to the gym to work out with him at like 10 years old and stuff like that. And then went to the University of California, Irvine, National Academy of Sports Medicine, the Czech Institute, hired various mentors over the years as well. So definitely not learning this stuff on my own, which is impossible to learn everything on your own. Everyone needs mentors. David is in the house. David, we're just going to be, as always, talking about common sense approach to health and fitness. And in a life of not living a life of obesity, misery, and disease. And it's so easy, guys. And I try to, make it so easy. And I post so many testimonials here of the stuff working. And the good news is it costs very little. In fact, like a health conscious lifestyle oftentimes saves people money. It actually puts them in a surplus. I've had clients save, $5,000 or more per year once they do a lot of lifestyle and nutritional changes, meaning like eating out less, spending less on processed food, on cheap, cheesy supplements that don't even do anything but are extremely expensive and stuff of that sort. So let's just go down the list. So my list is called Biohacks That Actually Work. And so imagine that. They actually work. Pretty much anyone can do them. They cost pretty much no money. In fact, they save you a lot of money and a lot of mental and physical troubles throughout your life. So, of course, like I always say, you guys, if you're not ready to create honest change in your life and you just kind of, want to be in a game of chasing symptoms, today it's excess body fat. Tomorrow it's cancer. The next day it's like high blood pressure. The third day it's kind of some rash on your butt or something like that. This stuff isn't going to work for you. So this stuff only works for people that are ready to kind of create that honest change in their life. And more importantly, take responsibility that they're creating the majority of their disease. And a lot of times, doctors would say, oh, it's a disease. It's a disease. Sure, it's a disease, which kind of is a word to the kind of gullible person may sound like something you don't have any control over. But it's a disease that's caused, like 99.9% of the time, caused by the individual doing it to themselves through choosing poor lifestyle and nutritional choices through many, many decades of their life, and stuff of that sort. So, and as David mentioned, 100% truth, money sign, money sign, money sign. An organic apple is healthy and cheaper than a Big Mac. Yeah, and just to give you guys an opinion, the prices may have changed a little bit since, of course, when I finished my book 5 years ago, but I'm sure the ratios are the same. 2,000 calorie factory farmed diet is only $7.70 per day. And 2,000 calorie USDA organic diet is like $12.20 per day, something around that sort. That's like a whole food diet, okay? Just a single meal at like McDonald's is like $10 now, okay? Or the general idea is when you eat out, you're paying about 300% more for an equivalent meal that you can make at home yourself. 300 to 400% more. If it's like a higher end restaurant, it could be, like 1,000% more, even more than that. To give you an idea, like Morton's Steakhouse, it's like $100 for a steak. I think. I haven't been there in so many years. Who knows what their prices are now? But you can probably get the same steak at Costco, for example, for like, I don't know, $15 or something like that. So obviously like a huge difference, especially when you take into consideration paying taxes, the tip, driving over there, possibly buying clothing to go and eat over there. The meal is actually like super expensive, okay? So let's kind of go down this list. And again, if you guys have any questions, these lives are meant for you. I just want to give you, Sergio, Robert, good to see you guys. Thanks for jumping in. I just want to give you guys free health advice that actually works. And it's like literally to implement this stuff is freaking free. Like anyone can do it. There's no barrier to entry. The only barrier to entry is just the person you see looking back at you in the mirror, okay? So one, something that can help you a tremendous amount is just stop watching news. I know, so simple, blah, 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 but honestly, I think it could improve the quality of your life so much from a couple of vantage points. First, you free up a tremendous amount of your time. Second, unless you're like very naive, it's obvious that all news is extremely biased, whether you watch, I don't even know the news stations these days, Fox, CNN, I don't know, is ABC like a news station? I don't even know because I haven't even watched these guys in so long. But they're extremely biased. Oftentimes they're funded by certain agendas and stuff like that. So they're representing kind of like a biased viewpoint on a particular topic. And if you just know anything about anything, you'd know that the majority of things going on in the world, it's like a very dynamic shade of gray. You know what I mean? It's hard to interpret who's right or who's wrong. And oftentimes both parties could be wrong and stuff of that sort to various degrees at different times of the conflict. So you're not even getting an accurate representation in news. Most likely you're getting a representation that you're already biased towards accepting anyways. So it's not keeping you open-minded. It's probably making you more closed-minded overall. And it's taking up your time. And the third thing is like, what do we got going on today? Okay, so I think like the thing in Israel, Ukraine, a few years back, it was the virus, COVID, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, like, what does it matter that you know a lot of the details about this? Like, are you going to join the military and go fight in Israel right now, or go there as a peacekeeping force, or Ukraine, or are you going to run for office or become like a billionaire so you can help the economy or financial education or something like that? If you're not going to do those things, like all that information is useless to you, right? You're not going to use it. And what's the point of gathering just a bunch of useless, biased information that's not going to help you in any way? Of course, if you're going to go on peacekeeping missions and stuff like that in these kind of dangerous areas, That's honorable for sure, because a lot of those people need a tremendous amount of help. Uh, that's a different story, you know? But if you're not going to do these things, like you're just like wasting your time, in my opinion, and it's not helping you at all. It's taking a tremendous amount of time to watch it. It's most always like very negative, all the time, very negative and very drama filled, because that's what gets people to watch oftentimes. So it's not like it lightens up your day. You know what I mean? It's not like there's news about, um, some person helping shelter dogs in a city or something like that. And you can see how happy the dogs are after they've finally found this companionship and kind of a stable place to live and stuff of that sort. I'm just making stuff up, but you know what I'm saying, okay? So just cutting news out of your day, and more importantly, like one thing I did a long time ago, it's probably been, 15 years at this point, is just ditch your TV altogether. And that alone can save you so much time and actually make it easier for you to live in the moment too, without having so many distractions. Because a lot of times people are very distracted by electronics and stuff like that. And a lot of times too, people use these to kind of dissociate from a life they don't want, right? It kind of lets them unplug from a schedule they're not happy with, or a life they're not happy with, or a partnership or whatever. So you got to be consciously aware if you are using electronics to dissociate, moreover to improve the quality of your life. So another big one too, which could actually be huge for you, and of course that would mean you probably watching my content a lot less, which I'm totally okay with, because it's going to make you so much happier and free up a tremendous amount of your time, is actually getting rid of your social media. Probably, a more realistic step for a lot of people is just having it on like your laptop or desktop, but never on your phone. And that means a lot of you guys are gonna miss some of my content, or might have to watch it later, or stuff of that sort. And that's okay, because I would rather have you guys spend that time, working out, or sleeping more, or reading more, or doing some hobby you've always wanted to do, whatever that may be, whether it's like building a bridge replica, or, painting something, or just starting your own garden, or whatever it is, whatever you feel really fills in that me time and lets you feel balanced and have a sustainable life. I would much rather you do that than be on social media and watching, like a bunch of steroided out fitness influencers, or a lot of drugged out medical doctors trying to give you health advice, or some finance guy that's basically renting his whole entire lifestyle to try to sell you on some finance plan, or stuff of that sort, There are great profiles on social media for sure. And sometimes maybe strategizing and just watching those great profiles can help you as well, if you have really good discipline. But I found just most people just kind of get stuck down the rabbit hole of social media or YouTube and stuff like that. And like I just did one thing you guys can do, it's the weekend, just look at your phone, go into settings and see there's I forgot, but there's a button in settings that tells you how much time you're spending on each social media platform. Check it out. I do this with my clients often, and I actually did it with one of my clients just a week ago, and he's kind of like a very successful business guy. And we found he doesn't need social media for his business either, so keep that in mind. It's not like a social media business. But we found he was spending 22 hours a week cruising around all the different social media platforms between YouTube and Instagram and stuff like that. 22 hours is a lot. And just to give you guys an idea, that's probably the average amount of time a person spends. And please, like, just check your phone, see how much time you're spending. And I guarantee you can invest that time way more wisely into other facets of your life that could dramatically improve the quality of your life than cruising around social media. So check it out. In fact, if you guys can check it out now and just state in the comments section how many hours it says on your phone. I'm just curious. Bob, what's going on? Thanks for jumping in. I was kind of asking people to check their phone to see how many hours they spend on social media per week. So if you want, you can try it right now, and then just leave your comments. I'm curious, and see how much time you're spending. Just to give you guys an idea, if you are into health, fitness, looking your best, etc., etc., it takes about 10 hours a week to really optimize like your physical aesthetics and well-being. it's fair to say about 10 hours a week. You need 4 to 5 workouts, which will take 4 to 5 hours total for those workouts. And then also you need to do some background stuff like shopping for food and preparing that food, which is about like 5 hours or so. So you're looking between like 9 to 10 hours a week to have like a really great looking body and to feel great, have great digestion, great cardiovascular health, have great looking skin, etc. 10 hours. And a lot of people, they say they don't have time for that, but yet you look at their social media settings and it shows that they're spending, 15, 20, 25 or more hours per week on social media. So maybe in that case, they don't have any more time left, but that's because they allocated way more time to that social media platform. So again, you guys, these are hacks that are free, literally anyone can do, and they will dramatically improve the quality of your mental health, your physical health, your appearance, your relationships with others. They really work, and they're free, and anyone can do them. Like you can literally start doing them right now, and you don't even need to be a PhD. They're just so easy to understand. Like a 2-year-old child can do this stuff, and stuff of that sort. And it's just so easy, it's so common sense. Number 3, buy organic food. At least start with like USDA organic certified. It's not the absolute best certification out there. There's a lot of, let's just say, levels of integrity of what organic is, okay? And I've written actually like a book on this, obviously. It's right there, right here, Anti-Factory Farm Shopping Guide on Amazon. Amazing book, in my opinion, obviously self-proclaimed. It does come with about like 3 or 4 hours of video content too that you can get. It's available at Amazon or Walmart right now as well, and then a few local bookstores in my area too. And just buying organic is huge. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, it's more expensive. It's more expensive. It's really not. And a whole food diet is great too. So even if you want to stick to the factory farm stuff, but just eat steak, just eat like vegetables, fruit, starchy vegetables, water, etc., etc., you're still already doing pretty amazing. And if you want to take it a step above, go to USDA Organic Certified. If you want to take a step above that, do like biodynamic farming or regenerative operations. If you want to take a step above that, just grow your own garden or take up hunting and fishing yourself. David here is fishing right now while he's on his live. Nothing's going to beat Mother Nature. She's like the absolute best farmer in town. She's been doing it for like 4 billion years already. And if you count the universe as part of the time frame in terms of how long it took to form the world, almost 15 billion years. So she has 15 billion years of work experience. And her systems are on point and pristine. And she has like amazing laws and rules. And if you just learn about these laws and learn to follow them, you'll be happy, healthy, and not full of disease your whole life. And it's honestly, once you learn them, David could attest to it here. He's actually currently one of my clients. It's like so easy. It's so easy. And oftentimes just the only person standing in their way of improvement is just the person themselves. So like I always say, if you're doing it to yourself, one of my former mentors, Brian Carroll, gave me this line: if you're doing it to yourself, you can stop any time, including right now, because change can only happen in the now, obviously. It can never happen in the future, right? So another crazy biohack that actually works wonders is only drink water, organic teas, and kombucha from time to time if you want. Something of that sort. Or organic coffee if you're into that as well. That's it. That should be your only fluid intake. And nothing else. Not only will this save you a tremendous amount of money, because alcohol is fairly expensive and will lower the quality of your life in various ways, not just financially, but you'll look better. Obviously, your cells, which comprise, the molecules of proteins, fats, and carbohydrates, which then accumulate to build up the tissue of your body, like connective tissue, muscle tissue, which then in turn make up all of the 12 systems of your body, all require cells, billions and trillions of cells, and then billions of atoms that compose those cells accumulate and condense, and then they form this tissue. But all these cells, which are basically, a cell is like the smallest unit of like a living organism. So you have plant cells and animal cells. mainly water, and they rely on water. So make sure your water is filtered. I use a Berkey. A reverse osmosis has some benefits too, in the sense that it gets rid of all contaminants, and there are a tremendous amount of contaminants, including pharmaceuticals, in our water these days. Berkey's, but it kind of gets rid of everything, unfortunately. The Berkey, on the other hand, gets rid of a tremendous amount of the material, but not absolutely everything, but maintains the structure of the water a little bit, because I like to drink hard water more than soft water for health reasons, okay? So again, these are biohacks that actually work. The irony is, like, almost nobody will do them, although their answers are literally right here of how to live a life free of obesity, misery, and disease. Instead, they'll go for pills and drugs and gimmicky shortcuts, Ozempic and high blood pressure meds, all that BS, which most oftentimes is just people use it as a crutch to not do the honest work of actually creating honest change, which will not only make you look better, but improve the quality of your life from a myriad of different vantage points. So another super crazy biohack: get out of a toxic work environment. That's huge, because the body the central nervous system in particular, is not good at dealing with micro stresses, an abundance of them. And usually in a toxic work environment, you have micro stresses like, deadline, office politics, bureaucracy, under fluorescent lights, etc., etc. And then you have also macro stresses, which is kind of the worst combo, micro and macro combined. Macro being maybe an argument with your boss or with a coworker, or like a deadline that you're falling behind on, etc., etc. There's also like internal environment to consider, like if a person has a harsh internal critic or like a fantasy self they're comparing themselves to too often, that could also cause an inflammatory stress response and put a person in a constant chronic fight or flight situation. Then that changes your respiratory rate, which changes your digestion quality. Then as your digestion quality goes down, pretty much your entire organism starts going down slowly, because all of these 12 human systems or so are interconnected. Like I got this saying from Paula Chek, but what part of a watch tells time? The whole thing. It's not just the little hand. It's not like the glass cover. It's not like the little fabric that wraps around your wrist. You need the whole watch to give you the time, because if you lose the glass cover, that little spinner thing breaks. Or if you lose the little swivels or whatever, all of a sudden the time doesn't work. So try to view the human being as a whole. So if you have one system that's hurting, just automatically presume the other systems are hurting quite a bit as well. So David wrote, let me read here. It's kind of small text here, David. So 80 pounds gone, working with Eugene, no surgery or drugs, sustainable lifestyle through coaching. Yeah. And Igor is on here as well. I know I'm training him to climb Mount Kilimanjaro. We haven't set up a date exactly, but it's this year for sure. And his goal is also to lose 40 pounds. He already lost like 20 of those pounds and stuff of that sort. So I'm telling you guys, these are biohacks that work. I'm trying to help you guys just live a better life free of obesity, misery, and disease with the most cost-effective things that actually work to make you look great. And I would also, just as a side note, doing this for 18 years already, do not seek health advice. In my opinion, like personally, I would never seek health advice from an unhealthy health professional, which pretty much the bulk majority of them are, So if their stuff works so well, why isn't it working for them? I mean, it's just common sense questions you could ask. So basic. Okay, so up to you on this one. Try to get rid of your car payment as fast as possible. That can kind of free up your finances. For a lot of people, finances are stressful, and cause that micro stress, that chronic low grade stress, as a kind of like a background noise in their whole entire life. And that can kind of wear down the central nervous system quite a bit and kind of keep it beat up, and it's going to wear down the immune system. Then that's going to make it tougher for your body to fight off infections, fatigue, recover from workouts, in a myriad of pretty much all functions, okay? So I have two friends that just have a bike. One of them lives in Japan, actually. I haven't been able to figure out how to do it, without a car, but I do have a paid off Ford C-Max. I have a partner who actually paid it off together. So we share one car, which can help a lot too. Like if you have a partner, especially we both work remote as well, there's really no reason to have two cars. And just by getting rid of one of the cars and paying off one car, I mean, you can save, let's just say an honest, like 10,000 a year, probably 8 to 10,000 or more, depending on the car. Ford C-Max, not the most expensive car out there, but 8 to 10,000 a year. That's a decent amount of money for a lot of people. And the average American, according to Robert Kiyosaki, I heard him mention that they have less than $1,000 to their name. And I forgot the exact percentage, but I think he mentioned pretty much like 70 or 80% of Americans live in this kind of $1,000 or less total amount of savings. So some of it is for sure a little bit of the rising prices for sure, but honestly, I see so many Americans like foolishly spending their money. So the average American spends like $8,000 to $16,000 a year on just like eating out, local trips here and there, like other non-essential expenses like subscriptions and alcohol and fast food and stuff like that. It adds up. And if you guys add it all up at the end of the year, I guarantee you it'll probably be nothing less than 8,000. It'll most likely be like around 12,000 or so. So you can imagine getting rid of that car payment. That's like 8 to 10,000 more in your pocket. And then getting rid of all those non-essential expenses. That's like, let's say on the lower end, 8,000, right? So now you got 16 extra thousand per year. That's already quite a bit of change for most people. Okay, for probably almost all people in America these days. So up to you what you want to do on that one. But that's another great biohack that works if you can kind of outsource a lot of your spending and just kind of get rid of all these little subscriptions, all these non-essential expenses. Maybe adapt a mindset, which helped me, is just moreover seek happiness internally versus externally. Because I found with especially like materialism, past your biological needs, for sure, you need certain things to survive, right? But past those biological needs, materialism really just kind of provides just sugar highs at best. And that's really it, and not much more outside of that. But then your money's gone, and then most likely you're working a job you don't like to keep making that money to keep buying that stuff that doesn't really make you happy anyways, and stuff of that sort. So another great biohack is, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 more remaining. Work remote if you can. This is huge for a myriad of reasons. I've done many podcasts on this, and this was a topic of my first book as well, Laws of Aesthetics, one of the chapters. But this is important because it helps save you time, because you don't have to drive to work. So you could sleep in a little bit more if you need it. If you feel tired, being able to do that here and there actually makes a huge difference in your health. Also, you can have more time to work out or more time to pursue other hobbies, and thus have more balance in your day. It's safer because you don't have to get on the road as often, like on the freeway. So your chances of having a car accident are much lower. Then the bigger one is you don't have to deal with all the politics at work. It's just huge and draining oftentimes. And that alone can provide you a huge peace of mind, because the truth of the matter is most people in an office environment you're going to be working with are not doing mentally or physically well, like at all. So you're going to be exposed to that kind of energy 24/7, not 24/7, but pretty much the majority of your day, if you're around that. And that is going to have a negative impact on you. And just kind of look at all the crappy food they serve at work. And sometimes people come in sick too. And then, they invite you out to lunch, and usually it's like shitty food and alcohol and stuff like that. Like personally, when I was doing corporate health lectures, it was extremely rare to find a healthy person. Maybe 1 in 100 were actually like doing well mentally and physically. Maybe. Okay. So, all right. Okay, another cool biohack you can do is very, very easy, is just work on identifying your core values. And your core values are basically kind of things that mean something to you personally. Okay, they're kind of like your blueprint for what you should be doing and not doing in life. So like one of my core values is not eating anything that's not organic. So it's core value is either organic or above, you know. So I buy USDA organic certified food at the grocery store, natural grocers, Whole Foods, etc. But I also buy a lot of regeneratively grown food as well. And I do hunt in the local area too. And also I am, thank you to one of my clients, Brandon, for motivating me to do this. I had my own garden a while back when I was living in California, but no good excuses. I just got lazy. But recently I had a run-in with, I was at a grocery store, and then, you know, that mist they kind of keep spraying on the produce. All this time, I even wrote a book on American agriculture. So you think like I would be able to know this, but all this time I thought that mist was just water being sprayed on there to keep the vegetables fresh. But it actually turned out to be a pesticide formulation, you know? So that was the last straw. Now I'm starting my own garden here, just with a 30 by 30 space, which is what I have back here. It's not even that big. That alone would be enough to give me, you know, 5 to 800 pounds of vegetables per year just from there. Once I get the ball rolling on that project, I also have a bunch of mulberry trees and bushes nearby as well. So I'll be able to gather the berries. That's going to be more of a seasonal supplement. And then next week or the week after, I'm also hiring like a foraging expert to help show me like other plants I can get from the local area without having to drive too far, to use that as a supplement. Because once again, Mother Nature is the absolute best farmer in town. So if you can find edible wild crops or fish like David's doing right now, having wild fish and stuff of that sort, I mean, that's going to be like the absolute best food, period. You will see obesity 100% disappears with wild food if the person is genuinely just eating wild food, etc., etc. You can do it too with factory farm stuff just by maintaining your caloric deficit and having good ratio of macronutrients and stuff like that. But what I'm just saying is, especially it's very common in the weight loss medical community to title obesity as a disease. It is a disease for sure. It's a disease, but it's moreover a disease due to a mind virus. It's a belief system that doesn't facilitate health conscious choices. And those belief systems then lead to behavior patterns that lead to an accumulation of excess weight gain through many years or many decades of a person's life. You know, you don't just become overweight overnight. It takes quite a long time. So, in my opinion, and from my observation, again, doing this for 18 years, and I have a tremendous amount of client transformations that I post constantly here all the time of varying ages, ethnicities, educational backgrounds, health backgrounds, etc., all seemingly getting better because I just focus on changing the person that's causing the disease and don't even worry about the disease itself, you know. And ironically, pretty much almost every time, then the disease disappears, which is crazy how that works, right? Medical mystery. Okay. And another biohack, one other thing that could really help you is just spend your life, even as a hobby. You need to figure out what's going to work for you here. I don't want to kind of preach and say this is the system, but find out who you were before your conditioned self began to form. Your conditioned self is basically the person you think you are at the moment, but really just the person you think you are at the moment is just an accumulation of basically social program that you've adapted over the years just to survive. Because it's important to kind of understand that the central nervous system, its only purpose is to get you to survive better. You know, that's it. It has no other purpose, and all of your belief systems can be tied back to survival. There's absolutely nothing special between any belief system. In fact, pretty much every belief system actually is a byproduct of a person's environment. So environment comes first, and then a belief system comes second to help a person adapt in that environment. And a belief system is what basically comprises your quote unquote false self or conditioned self or your personality. There are various names or phrases to refer to the person you kind of society has made you become in order to help survive better in society. What I mentioned about the central nervous system as a method of survival, I mean, just a quick just a quick practice. It's kind of like, tie your motivations back. Like, why did you go to school? Oh, I went to school so I can get a better job. Okay, why get a better job? Well, I need to get a better job so I can make more money and have more food and live in a little bit of a better place and have more socioeconomic status to be able to find a partner and be more accessible or whatever, not look like a bad prospect. Why is all that stuff important? Oh, just so you can survive better. Same thing even with enlightenment or religious paths. Same exact thing. Like, why do you want to be enlightened? Or, oh, I want to be enlightened so I could kind of move freely throughout the world and understand the dynamics of the world and the complexities of it and be stress-free and in bliss. And then people can seek my advice and wonder what I'm doing and see me as a guru and I'm sought after and loved. Why is all that stuff important? Just so you can survive better, and that's it. So this could be literally tied back to like anything, okay? So it's important then to be conscious of that, the person you are right now is probably is 100% not who you were before that condition self-formed. So if you can go on an honest journey and do some investigating on who were you before your personality started forming, who were you? And that's actually the real you before your conditioned self has come around, okay? Because I got this from Maharaj, is because if you don't know who you are, like, what do you know? You don't know anything, right? If you don't know who you are, you will most likely get into the wrong jobs, wrong relationships, and that will lead you into maladaptive behavior, which will lead you into a life of obesity, misery, and disease. No absolutes, of course, but most of the time, that is exactly what happens. So that is up to you how to pursue that path. For me personally, non-duality, Nisargadatta Maharaj's work was great. Stefan Wolinski's work in quantum psychology is pretty amazing. I still read a tremendous amount of his books to this day, many of them multiple times over. You could, if you want to learn more about your conditioned self, you can pursue any topic in psychology almost. That will at least show you, psychology is great for at least showing you who you are not and learning more about that, because you have to obviously know who you are not first before you know who you are. That's the same thing with core values. You have to kind of spend a lot of your time in life possibly doing stuff you don't want to be doing, but you want to learn from this and listen to that inner star and listen to that inner star and say, hey, that relationship didn't work. But instead of being super angry at it, just say, hey, thanks for showing me what I don't want in my next relationship or my next job or whatever, or stuff of that sort. So you get more clear about what you do want, and then it's your responsibility for going after it, and not creating belief systems and lies around why you can't do it. Just, you got to do it. And if you don't know how to do it, you got to seek out mentorships or read books or figure out how to do it. Because your only alternative is then just being kind of like fake to yourself, and then no one knows the real you, They just know your fake conditioned self. And on top of that, you're being fake to yourself. So that's going to cause a lot of erosion in your spirit over time. And that will lead to erosion in your physiology over time as well. And then just a life of obesity, misery, and disease, etc. So there you go, guys. So quick checklist. We can go on for hours and hours upon these biohacks, but these are biohacks that actually work. They don't require any expensive over-the-counter supplements, don't require any medical drugs, stuff like that. I'm trying to honestly help you guys. Swapnish, what is going on? Swapnish is joining us here from Mumbai. He's one of my former clients. Great to see you as always. But you guys, wishing you guys the best this weekend, and wishing you guys the best overall. And if you need help, I do offer free consult calls. So happy to sit down with you guys and see what's going on. And thank you for always jumping on, and wishing you guys the best. Okay. All right. Take care.